Aloha from Hawaii. This is Mr. Galleria, and I have this new video. It's called The Ant Graveyard, courtesy of Morgellons. You're looking at a picture of a small sample of my Morgellons dust that I've collected off of floors and windowsills. And in there, if you look closely, that's about the size of a quarter at the maximum width. You'll notice little fibers, and you'll see little spots in there. Those are ants, little black ants that had wandered into this little pile of dust and never came back out again. That's a very curious thing to happen. And I'll show you what's down inside of this little tiny pile of dusty fibers with ant carcasses in it. I also mentioned that here's this ant here. The ants are dismantled and torn apart, shredded. There's pieces all over the place in there. So it's not like the ant wandered in there and just died. They're in there and they're ripped to shreds and consumed. I've seen these ants, when they get in there, they're immediately stung somehow. A fiber will come up and the ant immediately reacts, has some kind of a nervous reaction, and slowly dies. And then these fibers will come in and attack the ant. And of course, I don't know if you've heard this, but they'd also do this to the bees. That's where all our bees are going. The die-off is caused by these darn Morgellons. You see here the fibers are growing around. Some of the smaller fibers are very young, maybe even just grown overnight. And I noticed that in this dust sample there was quite a few new fibers, and it had been sitting on the slide for at least a month, maybe 2 months, and I just happened to notice that it was full of these ant carcasses. They're kind of off the center. You'll see the eye, the ant's eye. This is about a 100-time enlargement. Most of these are 40 times. There's a leg just off, in another part of this pile of dust. These little ants are dismantled. There's a blue fiber, kind of got a curly cue to it. I shot a little video, and it's very interesting. I caught some fibers moving, and my camera only records for about 15 seconds. And every time I would run up to 15 seconds, this thing would start moving more, so I never was able to catch it when it was moving a lot. But I got a little bit of it moving. Now here in this picture, you'll see some really tiny little fibers, and those are just brand new ones that maybe just popped out while I was watching. Sometimes when I'm watching them, it stimulates them. Maybe they think, oh good, another meal's coming. There's blue fibers, kind of unusual features on these. I thought it might be worth seeing. And you'll notice that little white tip. That could be a living creature up in there. Usually they're red, but this one may have a little white creature in there. This is unusual blue fibers. I always see something different when I look in there. See some new fiber or some new color variation. This one off here to the right is very unusual. I don't recall seeing that before. This is a red fiber. It's kind of a triangular shape. As you can see, it's not perfectly round. They have all kinds of different shapes. This one is going from red to crystal. My gosh, it's the variety of these fibers is unbelievable. Now this one is taking on the shape of a rope. See how they've kind of intertwined together. I've seen that a few times, with like cooperating, or I don't know, growing or whatever. Here's some more fibers. It's totally amazing creatures that they've manipulated through nature somehow. Here's some young fibers, I would call maybe just 24-hour growth, maybe 24 to 48 hours. There's some kind of a mixture of young and older ones. You'll see some black fibers, dark blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Orange is very unusual. I think I just have one picture I took today. Now this next thing is very strange. This is some kind of another form of Morgellon. There's such a huge variety that I've never seen this type before. They're just all growing out just kind of all growing up in one direction out of some kind of a mass. Can't, you know, someday we'll know exactly what these things are, what each one of them is and what it does, its function. Obviously, they have different functions, different purposes. This is that creature that lives in the fiber, and this one is when they come out and die. They appear to die, but they actually go through a metamorphosis, and they grow. And this is in the process of growing right now. And they get very large and very ugly. Next two photos will show kind of a part of one that's probably starting to get large. And they just, I don't know how they do that, but you can see here this is a little bit of the side. It's got what I call a lesion on there. All those little bumps are future Morgellons of different natures. This is the kind of the leg, the end of the leg of a larger one. It's very ugly, hideous, but extremely intelligent, versatile, and multifunctional. Who knows? This was unusual. This was too large to be from an ant. I'm not sure if it was something that they were making or what it is. Just could be another variation. I've never seen this before. So these are samples of some of the things that were living in this little ant graveyard, courtesy of the Morgellons, courtesy of, who knows, the CIA probably, Raytheon, World Bank, who knows who would do such an evil thing. I'm sure they're very proud of themselves. They probably think that they really accomplished something great. Maybe they feel it's better to suffer and die from Morgellons than cancer or tuberculosis or polio. Who knows?